Arabie El kashawi. He is from the Shore Protection Agency, and the Shore Protection Agency is part of the Ministry of Water Sources of Irrigation. That is our host today. And he will talk about the challenges along the northern coast of Egypt. Please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dr. Elko, my designated panelists, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In fact, I will talk mainly about the north coast of Egypt and the challenge we already face along more than 1,000 kilometers of coast on the Mediterranean. And before I talk about this point, I will give just a brief about Shore Protection Authority. It's an organization, national organization, already was established in 1981. And the main reason for establishment of this national organization is mainly because a very dangerous phenomena already affecting along our coast till it already reaches the coastal erosion. By the year 1980, it was reached shoreline retreat in some areas along the coast, a few kilometers. So in many parts of the north coast of Egypt, many of our investments already was under danger. Some already collapsed, in fact. Many buildings of north cities like Ras al Bar and Baltim cities already collapsed. And so with the establishment of this organization, Shore Protection Authority was very important to study, research, and design project for protection to deal with this phenomena, coastal erosion, and to implement constructions for protection along the north coast, and especially in the areas where the investment located and needed for protection. As a part of our north coast, Nile Delta. And Nile Delta, in fact, considered as one of the most vulnerable coastal areas in the world to climate change and sea level rise. A very wide part of the Nile Delta with the level under 3 meter mean sea level. And nowadays already, and during the storms, the water level in the Mediterranean reached about 1.8 meter mean sea level in some areas along the coast of Egypt, especially near to Alexandria and Beira governorates. And with any scenario for sea level rise, according to climate change, we will already reach 2+ level over mean sea level. And this will mean a very wide area of the delta, especially the delta, will be completely under the water level. So it's one of the most vulnerable coastal areas in the world, in fact, to climate change and sea level rise. Also, at the north of delta and east of delta, we have 6 lakes considered as the main source for fish in Egypt by the fisheries activities in these lakes or by number of aquaculture projects already located in these lakes also. Of course, a number of high investments, of the national investments along the coast, already under the danger of coastal erosion and sea level rise, especially coastal erosion and sea level rise along the coast of Delta and the rest of the north coast along the Mediterranean. So when we talk about the many challenges we already face along our coast, in fact, the first will be the coastal erosion and shoreline retreat. And the second will be current and future climate change impacts, particularly sea level rise and increased storm. And the third is human uses and pressure on the coastal area and deterioration of the natural resources. And the challenge number 4 is seawater intrusion and the contamination of groundwater sources. Just to give an example about the coastal erosion and shoreline retreat along the coast of Egypt, In fact, we have two very hot spots along the coast, which is Rosetta Promontory and Damietta Promontory. The two branches of river, where we can see here along the last century, about 4.5 kilometers of shore already retreat till the year 1988. And just to imagine how this can occur in the area, you can just look at the lighthouse of Rashid. It was considered as, in fact, a very special lighthouse. In 1973, it was completely inland, as you can see from this picture. And by the year 1990, it was offshore and with water depths almost 7 to 8 or 6 to 8 meter water depth. And after the year 1990, it already completely disappeared. So we talk about 4.5 kilometer shoreline retreat. We talk about agriculture area and main drain, the rural drain in this area. So if this shoreline retreat continues like that, it will mean all this agricultural area, which is with low level already, under 2 meter mean sea level, it will be completely covered by seawater. So Shore Protection Authority, by the year 1988, in fact, it completed a complete study and about master plan with American consultant at the time, in fact. And through this master plan with 14 main projects, this project was the project number 1 to be constructed. It's already completed in 1990. And from this year, 1990, with 2 bars of revetment, 3.5 kilometers to the east of the promontory, 1.5 kilometers to the west of the promontory. Already the shoreline fixed at the revetment location. But just to know that a new challenge we will face already with the construction, here is a comparison between the profile in 1992 and 2010. You can imagine all this quantity of seabed material completely lost. According to our study, we took at the time we took about more than 2 million cubic meter of seabed material already lost every year. Here is at Damietta branch promontory, and we will talk about 2.6 kilometer shoreline retreat along the last century. We can see the development of shoreline retreat in the area. Alexandria Corniche and the storm, during storms. Alexandria Corniche. Here is Baltim City. And in Baltim City, you will find many numbers of rows of building completely collapsed. Russell Barre City. And 3 keys of building already collapsed. And during the storm, all the city street covered with 40 to 50 centimeter water in these cases, in fact. And during winter especially, this city looks like ghost city before 1990. So during this period, in fact, Shore Protection Authority already researched, studied, and designed a number of projects to deal with this main problem along the coast of Egypt. A number of projects, as you can see here, between revetments, detached breakwater, field groins, sand nourishment, already constructed along the coast to deal with this problem. The new challenge we will face, as I said before, is after we already construct huge structures for protection like this, we will face another challenge, which is the continuous of erosion in front of the structure itself. As you can see here in 1990, that was the situation exactly after we already completed the implementation of Rosetta revetment. It was more than 3 meters of beach in front of the revetment. In about 2010, it was about 5 meter water depth in front of the revetment. About 4 at that time, it's 4 already nowadays. And according to the design of the revetment, when the water depth in front of the revetment reaches 6 meters, this will mean I will need a serious maintenance and protection for the protection structure itself. And this is what I talk about. All the structures like this, we already construct. We will need to make a kind of maintenance just to keep the structure and to protect the area behind. Because as I said, 5-meter water depths in front of this revetment nowadays, it will mean a few days more, we will reach 6 meters in some areas. And with 6-meter water depths in some areas, we will need a very fast, at that time, maintenance work and rehabilitation works for the construction itself. In fact, we already begin this, and we make some maintenance for some parts which is considered as critical parts of the revetment. And as we can see here, a system of detached breakwater in Ras Al Bar, and we can see the difference, of course, after 3 years of buildings already collapsed, with the system of detached breakwater, we already gained more than 200 meters of new land because the accumulation of sand behind the breakwater, and the buildings rebuilding again, and we have a new beach with width approximately about 1 meter plus beach. We can say, of course, the sea, even the profile of the sea after the construction has become a little bit flat. Here is in Baltim, and we can see the difference between before and after the construction works, the protection works. And this building, in fact, it was a famous hotel in Baltim. In 1990, it was already partially in the sea. And after reconstructed in the same location of the hotel, we can see the new land already accumulated behind the breakwater. In Alexandria, we already make sand nourishment and system of submerged breakwater. And now we will talk about the new challenge, in fact, we face already along the coast, which is climate change and sea level rise. As you see here, a very wide part of the Nile Delta already is lowland, and it's already have a problem nowadays with the sea level during the storms. And as I said, with any scenario for sea level rise, we will lose wide areas from our delta. Not only this, but sure we will lose some of our North lakes, which are very valuable for our economy. Here is the 2 scenarios of RCP 4.5 and RCP 8.5 according to IPCC AR5. And as we see here, even if we take the scenario 4.5, RCP 4.5, we will talk about wide area like this one. This is an estimation for the land we will lose in case of sea level rise, 0.5 meter and 1 meter. We will talk about approximately 2,000 square kilometer will be lost with the scenario of 50 centimeter sea level rise. We will lose about 4,500 kilometers of land, and including the main 3 lakes, Manzala Lake, Borollos Lake, and Etko Lakes. So, and to deal with this challenge, in fact, in 2010, SBA represented the government of Egypt, already began a project, Adaptation of Nile Delta Coast to Climate Change and Sea Level Rise through ICZM. This project, in fact, was funded by GEF, Global Environmental Facilities, and with co-fund from the Egyptian government. And the main outcomes from this project, in fact, was number of pilot projects just to test this project and see if we can use it along the coast of Egypt or not. The first pilot project was only to fix sand fences like this using the weight already founded in the same area in Borollos Lake. This project was in Kafr Sheikh Governorate, in fact. And this one was the first pilot project, only to construct a row of sand fences on the normal level of the beach without any other work. And after 1 year, the situation was just like this. Sand accumulated, and a system of sandy dunes already accumulated along the project. The pilot project number 2 was to try to make a sandy dike using the dredging material from Boros Lake. It's in the same area. The permeability is low for this material, in fact, comparing with the sand of the beach. So we will have a core of this clay silt material, if I can say it, clay silt, and try to fix the sand with a plant like that. In fact, in a few months, and before the plants already grows, it was completely covered by sand. And the new sand dunes already built along the coast. The pilot project number 3 was to seem the same, but to protect the outer layer by dolomite stones. And the core was, as you see here, G-tube filled with sand. The pilot project number 2, the previous 3 projects, in fact, considered as one project because it's not okay. So the pilot project number 2 was to using dredging material from harbors and use this material to raise the level of the coastal area and use this material for nourishment. Okay, here is we talk about the laws in Egypt just to control building along the coast. According to the Irrigation and the Drainage Law in 1984, and according to the Environmental Law number 4 in 1994, it's not, as you see here, it's prohibited to construct any establishment within 20 meters of the Egyptian shoreline without the permission of the Shore Protection Authority and in coordination with Egyptian Environmental Affairs Agency. And like this, already the decree, the Prime Minister Decree number 1599, it's already modified in 2016, and with Supreme Committee to control the building along the coast. Nowadays, we already working on this new project, Enhancing Climate Change Adaptation Project in the North Coast, and the main goals, as you can see here, enhance the resilience of the North Coast of Egypt, of the Nile Delta in Egypt through integrated coastal zone management, and scale up the use of soft engineering solution as we already got from the previous project, and ecosystem-based adaptation measures, and establish natural observation system and early warning system. The 2 main components is to establishing a full ICZM plan for the north coast of Egypt. As you can see here, this is the outputs of this first component. Some marine stations will be already launched along the coast. And component number 2 is to upscaling the replication. And through this one, we already begin constructing the protection work in 5 governorates, as you can see here, with about 69 kilometers. As you can see here, in fact, you can see the dike just after construction with the level, with crest level of sand plus 3 meters over mean sea level. And after 2 years, it was completely 4 plus mean sea level. And the new, in fact, the new work we will do with it is just to construct new sand fences on the level of 4 to have sand dunes with the level of 5.5 meter mean sea level. Like this, we will have a source for beach nourishment, and we will have a protection for the lowland area behind the construction. Thank you.